Part 29. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 281. The storm gradually subsided. The sun shines on every corner of the island again. In the silence, the branches and leaves of the sacred tree made a rustling sound as a breeze blew by. The whole world is harmonious and natural. Under the tree, a figure sat quietly cross-legged. His appearance was rich and handsome, his face was as flawless as if it were made of jade, and his whole body exuded a unique temperament. It's Lu Shu. He opened his eyes, and a divine light burst out from his pupils. Those eyes seemed to reflect a world. Occasionally, he could hear the faint sound of thunder, bursting out from his body, like thunder. Is this my little world? Lu Shu stared at the vast world in his body and murmured to himself. A small world has been completely formed in his body. Now, this world is still blank, but a lot of spiritual energy has been poured into it, and flowers, plants and trees have been born. But has not yet created a living being. This is a small world that belongs to Lu Shu alone. Guided by his spiritual power and based on the spiritual energy absorbed, a space opened up is called the cave sky. However, that small world in the very center, there was a small sapling. The moment Lu Shu moved his eyes over, the sacred tree panel actually popped up. Small world tree. Stage, small sapling. Sunlight, 120/day, 1.2x100. Aura, 100/day, 1.0x100. Production cycle, 2.5 days, 250/100 equal 2.5. Growth points, 2, 2.2x100 equal 220/day. Next stage, spirit tree, 600 growth points. A small world tree. Lu Shu's eyes showed a trace of thought. This panel is exactly the same as the one he created when he came to the Divine Tree game. Even 100-fold increase appeared. But the only difference is that, this tree is not a sacred tree, but the world tree in Lu Shu's body. It carries Lu Shu's Dao fruit. That's right. The so-called Dao fruit is exactly the fruit that can be born after Lu Shu realizes the Dao, as well as its superpowers. There is an essential difference between the fruits. The Dao fruit is a fruit that must be condensed to break through to the final realm of true immortals, or even impact towards a higher realm, and form its own system of heaven. The little world tree in Lu Shu's body is the fruit that must be condensed. It has just begun to sprout, and it will take a long time to mature. But what is surprising is that the talent of 100-fold increase is also applicable to the small world tree. In other words, it originally took a longer time to cultivate. The progress of the little world tree has now been accelerated 100 times. This is very good news. If the little world tree grows fast enough and can improve quickly, then the progress of the formation of its own heavenly Dao will also become much faster. In order to cultivate you, I squandered all the top-quality void-returning fruits. Lu Shu faced the little world tree, shook his head and smiled bitterly. Who would have thought that such a small bud would actually cost 100 top-quality void-return fruits? Originally, these fruits were enough for Lu Shu to impact the return to void tree. The realm of the 9th level of virtuality, but now it has stopped at the 6th level of returning to virtuality. Moreover, because of the emergence of the small world, a large amount of spiritual energy has been divided to nourish this world, so the progress of the breakthrough will become more rapid. Slow. However, in terms of real combat ability, Lu Shu's current strength has completely reached the Hedao realm, and it is not even comparable to the ordinary Hedao realm. After opening up the small world, Lu Shu's true energy is equivalent to taking it is inexhaustible and inexhaustible. Even if you use an artifact of the level of the Zuxian sword, you can now use the skill of opening the sky with one sword infinitely, without stopping. Even if 10 Lords of Reincarnation appear in front of Lu Shu, all he can do now is to be beaten. Retract his mind. Lu Shu's consciousness returned to the island. At this moment, he exhaled a long breath and said in his heart, "It's finally done. As for that thunder tribulation." Suddenly, Lu Shu stretched out his right hand and summoned a realm of reincarnation. In the whirlpool of reincarnation, a trace of black thunder and lightning snakes kept scurrying back and forth, trying to escape from it. Struggling out of the whirlpool, he looked like a little fish that longed for freedom but was trapped in a fish tank. The corner of Lu Shu's mouth gently raised an imperceptible smile, and said softly, "Finally, I will save you, Guy, I've captured you." "That's right." At the moment when he experienced the thunder tribulation, the Tianji formation helped Lu Shu block the thunder tribulation. After awakening to the realm of reincarnation, this thunder tribulation could not pose any threat to Lu Shu at all. You know. Lu Shu, however, it has condensed the Dao mark of reincarnation. The Dao mark is located above the return to the void. The thunder catastrophe caused by the opening of the small world has not yet reached the realm of Hedao, let alone the realm of the Dao mark. Therefore, Lu Shu used a higher level with his reincarnation pattern. He naturally captured this most basic form of thunder tribulation. Using his mind, Lu Shu could sense the terrifying destructive power contained in the thunder tribulation. However, in this thunder tribulation, in addition to the destructive breath of death, there is also a power of rebirth. If it is perceived by attributes, it is similar to the immortal pattern that he has condensed, but it is closer to the origin of heaven and earth. Tisk tisk, there will be something new in the future that I can learn more about. Lu Shu couldn't help but smile. That's right. He didn't ask Anna to help him resist the thunder tribulation, just to withstand the test of thunder tribulation, and then imprison the property of the annihilating thunder light, and then slowly take it back and study it. Maybe given time, you can also study the Dao patterns of the thunder tribulation of nirvana. In this way, next time you are promoted to a heavenly immortal, and you understand the Dao patterns of the thunder tribulation, what other thunder tribulation can stop you? Achieve a breakthrough in Hedao and become an immortal? No, now it is still too difficult for Lu Shu to comprehend the power of this thunder tribulation. It can be clearly felt that the destructive power and properties carried by this thunder are higher than any other properties such as reincarnation and void. If it can be understood as a Dao pattern, then it will be an even more terrifying breakthrough for Lu Shu. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 282. Lu Shu took a deep breath. After opening up a small world, he began to observe the growth of saplings. Seems like it needs a little rain. Lu Shu thought in his heart. As his thoughts moved, the small world in his body soon began to accumulate thick clouds. The true energy condensed in the sky, turning the nearby clouds into a whirlpool and sweeping them over. Condensed into dark clouds. In a moment, boom boom. Boom boom. The mighty thunder echoed between the sky and the earth. In this small world with clear sky, wind and thunder broke out in the blink of an eye, and then, a drifting heavy rain poured down. Come and wash the whole small world. Your little world tree is absorbing rainwater, evolution points add 1. Your little world tree is absorbing rainwater, evolution points add 1. Your little world tree is absorbing rainwater, evolution points add 1. After an hour, enough rainwater was absorbed, the rainwater in the little world tree began to reach saturation. At this time, sunlight is needed. Lu Shu's thoughts moved again. The wind, thunder, and rain suddenly stopped at this moment. All the dark clouds in the sky dispersed, and the little world tree was bathed in sunshine and growing vigorously. Click, click, click. The subtle sound of breaking earth, as the saplings sprouted, made an inaudible sound. But this voice was keenly captured by Lu Shu. He looked at the saplings of the little world tree with joy and murmured, "Little one, grow up quickly. One day, you will be like the sacred tree." The little world tree seemed to feel Lu Shu's thoughts, and emitted the light of fireflies slightly, as if in response. Lu Shu was surprised, but thought that the world tree he gave birth to was derived from the Great Road, and of course it has with the seeds of considerable wisdom. One day, when the small world tree truly matures, this world will also completely evolve the way of heaven. At that time, it will be the day when a mortal will become a heavenly being. Next, Lu Shu withdrew his mind from his own little world. The growth of the small world still needs the nourishment of time. Moreover, the world tree is different from the divine tree. You cannot use messy things like primary fertilizers and advanced fertilizers to encourage the growth of the seedlings. Therefore, Lu Shu has only one way, that is to patiently provide the best growth space for his little world tree, so that the little world tree can grow faster, and then he will be satisfied. Lu Shu was not impatient. He knew that one day, his world tree would be able to evolve into the way of heaven. Therefore, he chose to focus on the other three fruits, the powerful miracle fruit, Vajra immortal fruit, chaos void fruit. These three fruits have evolved through Anna's hands. Anyway, 100 fruits are a lot, although Lu Shu originally used them for other purposes, throwing them to the members of the guild to improve their strength, otherwise they would not be able to travel to areas beyond coordinate 100. According to the records of the Samsara library, those places are very threatening, and even the harsh natural environment brought by the neutral zones in some areas is no less than walking in a super nightmare level dungeon. These fruits of the Lu tree must also improve the abilities of the guild members, otherwise they will die before reaching their destination, and then this time will be wasted. Lu Shu gave them the teleportation power fruit, also because in this way, after the guild members arrived at the place they pointed to, they could directly use a teleportation to take themselves to the designated place. Save time on your own exploration. In the future, guild members will explore these unruly areas on their behalf, and then use the teleportation fruit to teleport their bodies there, thus saving a lot of time. I'll take these superpower fruits first and see what kind of effect they have. Lu Shu stared at the three different superpower fruits. His eyes moved. He first chose the powerful miracle fruit and swallowed it. The moment he ate it, a prompt suddenly popped up in front of him. You have swallowed the powerful miracle fruit, your strength attribute has reached the SSS level, you have unlocked the ability to break through the void with one punch, and created a miracle in the field of strength. So strong. Lu Shu felt a volcano erupting from his body, as if magma was flowing through his body, and every cell in his body seemed to be burned and reborn in the fire. At that moment, his physique became completely different. SSS superpower. There is no need to use the true essence of cultivating immortals, nor does he need to use his own small world. Just relying on the power of his physical body, Lu Shu can break the void with one punch, reaching the pinnacle of the field of physical attack. Its destructive power is equivalent to the same as the dark fruit. Of course, this improvement is not of great significance to Lu Shu, but power is an attribute that can be used without consuming real energy. Having an additional fighting ability also gives him more flexibility. Sex. Next, Lu Shu will turn his attention to the immortal fruit of Vajra. You have swallowed the immortal fruit of Vajra and gained an SSS level physique. You have the attributes of an immortal body and can withstand all kinds of physical damage. Your physical immunity reaches 100%, and your magic immunity reaches 100%. Not bad. Lu Shu nodded slightly. In this way, his strength and physique have completely reached the full level. For Lu Shu's current level, if any attribute can be improved to the extreme, although for the significance of the battle is not very great, but the strength has still been improved to a certain extent. Then, these fruits are tantamount to being reborn for other sacred tree masters. SSS level. At this stage, which sacred tree master dares to say in a certain field, "Can I reach the SSS level?" I'm afraid it's very rare. Even the most powerful spiritual tree master will only conservatively think that his mental power reaches the SS level. It is far from the SSS level. I'm afraid it still needs some distance. Moreover, the SSS level is not the pinnacle of the God tree game. Above it, there is the more transcendent God level, as well as the mysterious kingdom of gods and heavens, and the endless sea. Finally, Chaos Void Fruit. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 283. Chaos Void Fruit. Lu Shu pondered for a moment, and then walked to the side of the fruit tree. Just when he was about to reach out to pick one, swallow it, and try to see what the effect would be. Suddenly, the little white fox jumped on his shoulder, eyes eager. Looking at the fruit on the tree, his ruby-like pupils were full of want-to-eat light. Lu Shu was slightly startled and asked Little Guy, "Do you really want this fruit?" The little white fox did not go to the gray world. Ever since Lu Shu stepped into the fog and looked for Old Man Su, even the white dragon horse was sent back to avoid any accidents. This group of little guys were originally gathering together in the god's palace. On the other side of the tree, they were playing with each other. As a result, when the Chaos Void fruit matured, the little white fox immediately came over. Lu Shu also realized that maybe it was because of the void attribute of the little white fox that he had a certain affinity for the Chaos Void fruit. Extremely eager and enthusiastic. The little white fox nodded, and gently rubbed Lu Shu's face with his furry head. This made him more sure that the Chaos Void fruit would greatly improve the little white fox, so he let this. The little guy instinctively wants to swallow the fruit. The instinctive desire from living things is sometimes more reliable than reason and knowledge. After the wild cat on the roadside is poisoned, he can find antidote herbs within 100 meters, which is also driven by instinct. This innate ability from nature is the excellent instinct for the growth of all things and exceeds the scope of human wisdom and cognitive abilities. Good. Lu Shu was delighted. He was originally thinking about how to use so many fruits. After all, the Chaos Void fruit sounded much more powerful than the powerful Miracle fruit and the Vajra Immortal fruit. If he traded it out or swallowed it for others, it seems a pity to take it. But since the little white fox is going to eat it, it is natural to make its own family get better. The little white fox immediately showed an excited look and chirped happily. The next second, 100 little white foxes flew over Lu Shu's face. Eat. Lu Shu smiled bitterly. These little guys are so excited. They just don't know how far they can evolve after swallowing the Chaos Void fruit. Bah! Bah! There was a burst of chewing sounds of pleasure. 3 times 5 divided by 2, in just a few breaths, 100 little white foxes each got a piece of Chaos Void fruit and swallowed it. Not long after, the sound of belching came one after another from beside him, and Lu Shu couldn't help shaking his head and laughing. Suddenly, the figure of the little white fox seemed to have escaped into the void, flickering erratically like the stars in the sky. The figure became ethereal, and the shadow seemed to turn into fog, making it difficult to capture its true form. Lu Shu immediately concentrated his energy, observed the changes in the little white fox, and murmured, "Are you going to evolve?" The last time the little white fox swallowed the Holy Spirit growth fruit, he had already understood the laws of the void realm. This time, after swallowing the Chaos Void fruit, what kind of changes will happen? The next second, the little white fox suddenly the void domain was displayed, projecting an endless void space. In that pitch black space, there was a gray airflow condensed in it. Although this airflow was still very small, it was like a needle, suspended in the pitch black space. In the void space, it is even difficult to distinguish it with the naked eye. However, if you use your mental power and spiritual thoughts to carefully explore the source of the gray airflow, you will be shocked by its properties. Lu Shu feels the moment his spirit touched the gray airflow, it was violently rebounded back. The small world in his body trembled. Lu Shu showed a horrified expression and watched in disbelief. The gray airflow in the void space said in an incredible tone. What on earth is this? It can shake his own small world, and make the mental power that is infinitely close to the SSS level suffer backlash. And what is the origin of this gray airflow? Is it the legendary chaos? Lu Shu lowered his head and fell into thought. Said to himself, chaos comes from nothingness, which is the beginning of nature and the end of all things. No wonder chaos and nothingness are placed side by side, and chaos is listed before nothingness, which is a more noble power. Nothingness and reincarnation are attributes of the same level, and above them is chaos. Chaos can even be juxtaposed with the way of heaven. The way of heaven is opened up from chaos and nothingness. Although chaos itself does not represent a very powerful rule, because its origin is primitive enough, its personality is even more transcendent. Unexpectedly, the little white fox swallowed the chaos void fruit and understood the power of the laws of chaos. In this way, the little white fox will master more advanced attributes and become the strongest pet. This change made Lu Shu quite surprised. He had a lot of guesses about the little white fox swallowing the chaos void fruit, but he never expected that he could really master the attributes of chaos. In fact, when he thought about it carefully, it was not that strange. Any of the attributes that can reach the level of the domain have almost reached their peak. The supernatural attributes are different from those of cultivating immortals. They cannot reach the system of self-created avenues, and the domain is already higher than the realm of laws. What belongs to you, although the world of one side is not yet a small world and can accommodate all things, it is already beyond the reach of the current sacred tree master. Therefore, the little white fox whose void attributes have reached the realm actually does not have much room for growth in the void. So I am so fascinated by the chaos void fruit, not because of the void, but because of chaos. No wonder the little white fox was so happy when he saw the chaos void fruit. It turns out there is a reason for it. After a while, the little white fox automatically cast the void domain gradually retracted. The chaotic gray airflow had merged with the void domain. With a thought in his mind, Lu Shu opened the information panel of the little white fox. The next moment, the attributes on the panel made Lu Shu the tree was surprised. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 284. Escape Fox. Type, Elf. Abilities, Void Teleportation, Hostile Sense, Void Crack, Dark Fruit, Void Domain, Chaos Attributes. Physique, SS+. Speed, SSS. Spirit, SSS. Comprehensive Potential, Semi-Saint. Half-Saint. Lu Shu's eyes immediately focused on the comprehensive potential of the little white fox. Yes, the little white fox at this moment has broken through the SSS level potential, showing a new attribute, Half-Saint. After swallowing the Holy Spirit when growth fruit, the little white fox's comprehensive growth potential has reached the SSS level, but has not yet reached the semi-saint level. However, since swallowing the chaos void fruit, the little white fox's comprehensive growth potential has shown that a new value, half-saint. This was after the little white fox condensed chaos and was able to enter a new level. Lu Shu's expression changed, and he guessed that the increase in the level of the little white fox was related to the addition of the chaos attribute. There is certainly no doubt about it. But the question is, what is the relationship between the chaos attribute and the semi-saint? It seems that it has nothing to do with strength. For example, after Pikachu reaches the comprehensive potential of the SSS level, even if it eats other superpowers and its strength is improved, its level is not. However, after the little white fox reached the same SSS level and ate the chaos void fruit, its strength actually did not improve much, because now there is only a trace of chaos in the little white fox's field, but it cannot be used yet. However, when Lu Shu opened the panel, the overall potential of the little white fox continued to increase towards the semi-saint level. This change exceeded Lu Shu's imagination. Lu Shu frowned, thought for a while, and finally focused on the attributes of chaos and murmured. Perhaps the way to break through to the SSS level is to obtain enough domains and super-level attributes. Only in this way can we truly break through and advance towards the realm of gods. God. What is God? Nature stands above all living beings and has a transcendent level of life. Looking down at everything, they are like ants. He is as high as the sun, moon, and stars, and he is a god. Just adding some ordinary powers is impossible. SSS level breakthrough, becoming a saint, or a god. There is only one direction, the field. The field, from ultimate attributes or magical powers, to laws, to the field, has reached the highest state of a single field, but this is not enough. The field must, if you have enough, you can truly be called a god. The little white fox has absorbed a breath of chaos and been promoted to the level of semi-saint. Lu Shu guessed that if you want to reach the realm of saint, you must condense the three powers. Only after you have successfully transformed into realms with different ultimate attributes can you be called a saint. Only after you have crossed the saint level can you reach the next step of the god level. The ancients said, three things give rise to all things. If the little white fox can condense three different fields and be promoted to a true saint-level powerhouse, his strength will definitely be transformed. The current little white fox is as good as me in terms of personality. Even if I use my mental power, I can't see the source of this chaos. Lu Shu's eyes were filled with excitement. The little white fox has become stronger, which is of course a good thing for him. Moreover, he finally had a pet that broke through the SSS level, allowing Lu Shu to see a higher realm. The so-called SSS level is just the beginning, and it is far from the end. There are even higher realms and realms waiting for Lu Shu to explore. The little white fox opened his eyes out of confusion, shook his head, and seemed to feel something different happening in his body. Those ruby-like eyes were full of doubts. What exactly is different? Looking around, the little white fox suddenly noticed something was different. I saw Yumi leaning over with a smile on her face, a look of intimacy on her face, and she wanted to hug her thighs. Tisk tisk. Yumi is looking for the guy with the strongest legs to hug. He has a natural affinity for the most trustworthy and powerful partners. The little white fox saw Yumi's attitude towards him, but it completely changed. I used to be indifferent to it. The little white fox was also a bit arrogant. When Yumi rushed over, he deliberately got into the crack in the void. Yumi flew over and immediately jumped into the air. Yumi showed a pitiful expression and looked at the little white fox with a flattering look on her face, as if she was acknowledging her previous indifference. Lu Shu watched and laughed secretly. Is this the pet version of yesterday you were indifferent to me, but today I will make you unable to reach your heights? The other friends, sensing the changes in the little white fox, also came closer, wanting to know what happened to the little white fox. But no matter how they sense it, other pets cannot see what changes have happened to the little white fox. Pikachu showed a thoughtful expression. The samsara eyes seemed to capture some aspects of the little white fox and became a little different. However, the transcendent power was something that he could not see through, just like the same person. A curtain of chaos blocked Pikachu's mental perception. This also surprised Pikachu. There are actually existences that the reincarnation I can't see through? So awesome! At this time, Lu Shu suddenly pointed at one of the little white foxes and said, "Little white fox, you go to the teleportation array through the gray world. I need some help from you there." In fact, in addition to help, Lu Shu also wanted to exercise the little white fox more. The next journey will get closer and closer to the gray world beyond coordinate 500. In addition to this problem, Lu Shu also wanted to see if the little white fox's chaotic aura could evolve and upgrade faster. Therefore, except for the little white fox, all other pets stayed on the sacred tree island for the time being. Only the little white fox went to the gray world. The little white fox was a little confused, wondering why Lu Shu only called him. Don't they usually act together in large groups? This time it was something special. However, the little white fox didn't question anything and was very obedient. Go to the teleportation array immediately. As a curtain of light fell, the figure of the little white fox quickly headed to the gray world where Lu Shu's clone was. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 285. Gray World. Old Man Su has been imprisoned in Lu Shu's realm of reincarnation. However, this guy's willpower is really strong. He was still clenching his teeth and baring his teeth and claws desperately, as if he wanted to eat a living person. Lu Shu frowned, thinking that Old Man Su could recognize the difference between him, but this guy has turned into a monster, completely devoid of normal human thoughts and emotions, and even the instinct of fear has been lost. He has completely become a monster. A walking corpse. At this time, a teleported light curtain descended to the gray world. The little white fox is here. Lu Shu breathed a sigh of relief. This Old Man Su could finally be replaced by the little white fox to take over. Although the little white fox does not know the realm of reincarnation, it does know the realm of void. As long as it's a field, it's not a problem to trap Old Man Su. The little white fox used the void domain to pack up Old Man Su and take him away. Lu Shu ordered. Soon, the little white fox used the void domain to wrap up Old Man Su. At this moment, Old Man Su suddenly stopped. Lu Shu noticed this abnormality and turned around with a frown. But seeing Old Man Su's empty eyes staring at the chaos in the empty space, he became honest and calm, and no longer made any noise. Could it be this aura of chaos that calmed Old Man Su? Lu Shu felt a little surprised. He didn't expect that Old Man Su stayed in his own realm of reincarnation and struggled in various ways, but when he changed to the realm of the little white fox, he became completely quiet. Old Man Su's eyes were staring at him motionlessly. The chaotic airflow in the center clearly shows that the chaotic attribute condensed by the little white fox can suppress the sky. This surprised Lu Shu even more. The chaotic airflow of the little white fox actually has this kind of attribute. It's true. It's surprising. Now that Old Man Su has settled down, the next trip will be much smoother. Lu Shu continued to ride the white dragon horse. Although the little white fox joined in, he was small and not at all taking up space. Even if there are only 100 of them, they can still ride on the white dragon horses at the same time. The next coordinate, 299, 276. The suspicious tomb of the hero. There seems to be some secrets related to the undead here. Lu Shu checked the coordinate information of the Samsara library. Originally, he planned to go directly to the area of the sword in the stone, because the location was quite close. But the appearance of Old Man Su made Lu Shu change the direction of his trip. According to the Samsara library, the information recorded in the museum. The sword in the stone was contaminated by the undead around 1100, and the divinity of the sword was completely corrupted, thus forming the abyss of the sword tomb. Among them, the sword in the stone is also related to a famous magician. Merlin is related. It is said that Merlin has reached the realm of a holy magician. At the beginning, Lu Shu did not care about this information, but it was not until the little white fox was promoted to the semi-saint stage that he understood that above SSS level, there is also the saying of holy level. Perhaps, when I go to the realm of sword in the stone, the boss I need to face is likely to be more than a nightmare level copy. The Lord of Reincarnation is a super nightmare level copy, and the danger factor has reached SSS level. But if Merlin is a saint level magician, then his danger factor will naturally exceed that of the Lord of Reincarnation. Therefore, if the sword in the stone becomes an abyss dungeon, then this dungeon can no longer be measured by letter levels. Its danger factor even exceeds the SSS level and reaches a higher realm. You have to be careful. combining all the current intelligence. Lu Shu saw a true immortal from this small town, Old Man Su. Even if he uses the immortal killing sword, he can't kill this undead person. This is completely different from the living dead in the city of the living dead. The undead really cannot die. In other words, we haven't found a way to deal with the undead yet. Since the suspicious tomb contains the secrets about the undead, you should go to the suspicious tomb first, and then go to the sword in the stone to explore. Lu Shu secretly planned in his heart. Judging from the coordinates, the location of the suspicious tomb is closer to the sword in the stone, which is a little farther from the Eternal Emperor at 999. According to the Grey World, according to the rules, if the suspicious tomb and the sword in the stone both represent the same copy, then the sword in the stone, which is closer to the Eternal Emperor, is more dangerous, while the suspicious tomb is relatively lower. Moreover, 72 suspicious among the records of tombs in the Reincarnation Library. The biggest difficulty is that it is difficult to distinguish which is the real tomb and which is the fake tomb. The sword in the stone was corrupted by the divine weapon and was infected by the undead abyss. Which one is more dangerous? Of course, the sword in the stone, which can corrupt even gods, is more dangerous. There is also a saint-level magician named Merlin who does not know whether he is an enemy or a friend. If the sword in the stone is also contaminated, then Merlin has most likely turned into a monster. It is very dangerous to go to the sword in the stone this time. However, Lu Shu obtained an incomplete sword in the stone from the last god-level reward, but it lacked that stone cannot activate the full power of the sword in the stone, and one must go to 255 again. Maybe that stone is in Merlin's hand. Lu Shu's eyes moved slightly. The rewards given by the Grey World rankings must be extraordinary. Perhaps, there is something unknown to him where 255 is. Lu Shu had some vague premonitions in his heart. After this adventure, my understanding of the Grey World will become clearer. The white dragon horse turned into a stream of light, carrying Lu Shu and the little white fox, and rushed towards the direction of the suspicious tomb. And left. Lu Shu did not intend to waste time in the middle. The Samsara Library ultimately pointed to the Eternal Empire once established in the Grey World, but the knowledge in this library was incomplete. Only by reaching the ruins of that kingdom. Know the full picture of these coordinates. At this moment, Lu Shu received a message from Anil on the message panel. Emergency information. There is a big movement in the Grey World. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 286. Lu Shu's mind moved slightly. Big trends in the Grey World? What is this? Looking at the chat panel, Lu Shu discovered that all the sacred tree masters had opened public chat windows and were discussing this matter eagerly. World public screen. Have you heard about it? Over there at coordinates, 199, 99, a Tower of Heritage appeared. Tower of Inheritance. What the hell is this? It is said that as long as you keep going up and conquer this tower, you can gain inheritance points. Oh, I seem to understand, but is there any reward for this Tower of Heritage? There is no specific news yet, but the people at Muyo Pavilion seem to have received the news in advance. Our insiders heard that in the Inheritance Tower, there are endless treasures in the main hall over there, which can be obtained through points. Come and redeem it, and the tree master with the highest points can also get the legendary supreme reward. Damn it! That is the supreme reward. What good stuff can be gained from this? As long as you get first place, you will know what the reward is in that tower. But the risk factor is really high. It is said that it has reached SS level, which is equivalent to a nightmare level copy. I wonder if I can get to the end. Who cares? It is said that as long as you go to conquer this tower, you can get a teleportation talisman back and forth. Even if you can't defeat the monsters inside, you can teleport out immediately, so you won't die so easily. So what are you waiting for? Get him a vote quickly. All the Sacred Tree Masters were discussing lively. Even the Sacred Tree Master installed in Muyu Pavilion jumped out to speak. The goal of doing this is of course not to let Muyu Pavilion monopolize the benefits of the Tower of Heritage, so the news is made public and the whole scene becomes more chaotic, so that these small guilds can get more of the pie. Of course, since the video of the Tower of Heritage was uploaded to the world public screen, this storm has brewed into an unstoppable trend, bombarding the entire Sacred Tree game in just a few days. For a time, all the Sacred Tree Masters were paying attention to this matter. Lu Shu's eyes moved slightly. The Tower of Inheritance seems to be the inheritance left by the Emperor of Thunder. This great emperor is said to be an envoy from the Heavenly Palace. He once visited the kingdom of the Eternal Emperor and was enshrined as a distinguished guest to entertain him. Unexpectedly, he even landed in the lower realm. The inheritance of the Emperor of Thunder, even if it is just a random treasure left behind, may be of great help to the monks in the Hedeo realm. Legend has it that this great emperor almost reached the realm of the immortal emperor at his highest state. Unexpectedly, he left his legacy in the Grey World. Lu Shu lowered his head and pondered. The news about the Samsara library is huge. Although there is not much description about the Thunder Emperor, many judgments can still be made based on Lu Shu's understanding of the Grey World. This inheritance is probably just a treasure thrown away by the Emperor of Thunder when he traveled to the Grey World. In the form of inheritance, he came to see if there are qualified divine tree masters who can obtain this inheritance. As for the origin of the Thunder Emperor, in the description of the Eternal Emperor, he came from the Heavenly Palace. Heavenly Palace, Divine Kingdom, Grey Realm, these three places are different. There is also an unknown and endless sea. Since the identity of the Thunder Emperor is related to the Heavenly Palace, Lu Shu is naturally not willing to miss this prosperous age. However, the coordinates of 199, 99, are they too far away from me? Moreover, he had to turn around and go back, which greatly reduced his progress towards the 999 coordinates. How to do it? Lu Shu's eyes suddenly focused on the ID in the chat box in front of him. Anna. My own guild member. Maybe, you can make a deal. Lu Shu paused and responded. New. Anna stared at the chat window in front of her. To be honest, she was still very curious about what Lu Shu would do next. After all, as the number one in the rankings, maybe there is a chance to witness him taking the initiative to come to this copy. When the time comes, the guild members will act together and witness the true style of the top leader. That was a chance to show off to the Akatsuki organization. Anna began to think about this. If the Akatsuki organization can become famous in one battle, will my guild gain many more fans? At this time, a message came from the chat box in front of me. President Anna, do you want to be number one in the Tower of Heritage? Anna was stunned when she looked at the words in front of her. She rubbed her eyes and watched it several times to make sure she understood what the president said correctly. She was almost dumbfounded. Anna President, how can I get the first place on the list? Just go and have fun. You have to take action yourself to get this rank. President I'm far away and don't have time to guide you, so I can make a deal with you. Anna hey, deal. Curious baby face. President yes, I can give you enough powerful superpower fruits, enough for you to reach the first level on the list. Moreover, you can use the inheritance points you get in them however you want, and the items you get are also yours. However, the reward for the first place on the list must be given to me. If you think it is suitable, you can make this deal. Anna then understood what Lu Shu meant. Her eyes widened. Is there such a good opportunity in the world? If you ask yourself, Anna is not sure that she can get to the top of the list, let alone the first place, even the 100th place may not be qualified. According to the president's intention, it seems that she wants to use the superpower fruit to pile herself into the top of the list. The height of? True or false? Anna couldn't help but ask excitedly, President, is this really okay? To be honest, Anna still didn't have much confidence. Even if she obtained the superpower fruit, she was not sure that she would be able to defeat others. And, I still don't know what the superpower fruits that the president gave me are. President, you just need to tell me, agree or not. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 287. Onel's mind was slightly shaken. With Lushuran's intention, he didn't even think about whether Onel could get the first place on the list after getting his superpower fruit. It seemed that getting the first place on the list was completely natural. The only choice is whether Onel agrees to the deal. For Onel personally, this transaction is of course a sure profit without losing money. After all, he has obtained the fruit of the tree man and can challenge the Tower of Heritage for higher points. How could he lose money? There is actually only one question to worry about: can I get first place on the list? But the tree lifters are not worried about this problem at all, so why should I worry about it? If you miss this village, you won't have this store. Onel calmed down, gritted his teeth, and replied firmly. I agree to this condition. Lushu nodded, and then, through the transaction panel, he transferred a teleportation fruit and a shadow assassin's professional fruit to them first, and said, swallow these 2 fruits and reach the coordinates, 199, 99, as quickly as possible. When you arrive, enter the area of the Tower of Heritage, and I will give you additional fruits that will allow you to get the first place on the list. You should be able to get to the scene before the Tower of Heritage ends. Onel checked her coordinates. Now, her position is at coordinates 88, 111, which is a certain distance from 199, 99. Regarding this issue, Onel herself can't say. Since the Tower of Heritage was opened, will only last for a month, and will be closed next time. Lushu saw Onel's little thoughts and said, if you are worried that the speed is not enough, it is not a problem. The 2 fruits I gave you, originally just for the purpose of traveling. Eat these fruits first. With a thought in Onel's mind, he took out the teleport fruit and shadow assassin fruit that Lushu had just given from the warehouse, hesitated for a moment, and then put the fruits into his mouth. Ding! You swallowed the teleportation fruit and gained the A-level teleportation ability. Ding! You swallowed the Shadow Assassin fruit and unlocked the exclusive profession of Shadow Assassin, reaching the Grand Master level. 2 reminders in succession lit up in front of Anli's eyes. Her eyes suddenly changed. It turned out to be 2 A-level superpower fruits. No, this Shadow Assassin fruit can even directly reach the Master level professional level. If converted into a career fruit, it would still be an S-level career fruit at least. After swallowing these 2 fruits, Onel's eyes were full of surprise. You know, Lushu gave these 2 fruits just to facilitate Onel's journey. However, just transmitting the superpower fruits has already reached a level. Not to mention that after the level of the Shadow Assassin Divine Tree grows, just one of the fruits it produces can directly promote Onel to the Grand Master level Shadow Assassin. Although this level is not suitable for most current professional gods. For a Tree Master, he is no longer very high, but he can be promoted to the Grand Master level with just 1 stone, which still brings a big shock to Onel. Thanks. Onel took a deep breath. Now, she finally knows where the president's confidence comes from. Just to facilitate her travels, she can easily give away A-level teleportation powers, as well as career fruits that directly reach the master level. And it is also the profession of shadow assassin. The value of the two fruits converted to the transaction interface is no less than the S-level superpower fruit. Onal's heart at this moment can only be described as admiration. The next second, she will not wait any longer. Put all the bonus points into speed, and rush towards the coordinates, 199, 99, as fast as possible. Using the ability of the master-level shadow assassin, Onal's figure turned into a shadow, teleporting like this for herself. It only takes half a month to pass the many coordinates. A superpower fruit. After the conversation with Onal ended, a warehouse appeared in front of Lushu. The powerful miracle fruit can allow any sacred tree master to obtain SSS-level power. The Vajra immortal fruit can obtain an SSS-level physique. The indestructible body of King Kong. These two superpower fruits have piled up the basic strength attributes and physical attributes to the level of SS-level dungeons. To deal with the inheritance of the Thunder Emperor, there should be no divine tree masters in the previous levels. It can be compared. After the basic attributes are off the charts, it is not easy to defeat the mobs. But considering the identity of the opponent, he is the Emperor of Thunder from Tiangong, will there be some more difficult aspects in the later levels? At that time, Lushu was not sure. More superpower fruits were needed. At this moment, Lushu sensed a slight movement in the direction of the abyss. It seemed that the deep sea army had broken through that sea area. Go to a new area to explore. Lushu immediately transferred his mental power and activated resonance. The next second, the scene in front of him turned into a pitch-black abyss. Poseidon Palace. Lushu's consciousness came to one of the Nami's bodies. The golden dragon and koi carp transformed into a young man, standing solemnly on the console of the Poseidon Palace, with the screen projecting images of the abyss outside. After traveling for thousands of meters, this place is already 20,000 meters under the sea. The nearby area is not just as simple as the Black Sea, but also has many invisible whirlpools and undercurrents. Even the Poseidon Palace will suffer considerable damage if it is involved in the undercurrent. But fortunately, there is also a detector from the Poseidon Palace to assist in exploring the 20,000-meter sea area. Therefore, these whirlpools were detected by the detector before they were encountered and were perfectly avoided. However, this does not mean that the current situation will be easy to deal with. The golden dragon koi took a deep breath and said, "There are many sea monsters in the distance, and they are very large in number. If we want to continue exploring and looking for treasure chests, it will be difficult not to disturb them. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning." Author, Immortal. Chapter 288. When Lushu heard this, he frowned and asked Sea Monster, "Is this species difficult to deal with?" The golden dragon koi patiently replied, "I can't say it is difficult to deal with, but it is indeed very tricky, because there are too many of them." Lushu smiled and said, "If you are here, our luck should be good enough." That's right. The golden dragon koi has a great luck bonus. The luck value carried by the golden dragon koi alone is as much as 500 points. If Lushu also comes here, he will also be blessed by the golden dragon and koi carp. Adding the two together, the lucky value will exceed 1000. Don't underestimate the value of luck. In such a dangerous situation, it is likely to play a big role. Golden Dragon Koi thought hesitantly and looked embarrassed, but finally thought that Lushu had come in person and nodded. "With your strength, you shouldn't be in danger. The domain is opened by exerting mental power." After Lushu obtained the reincarnation domain, he did not need to come over. He only needed his mental power to come here to activate the reincarnation domain. The golden dragon and koi fish are not confident about their luck, but felt reassured by Lushu's strength. Boom! Along with the Poseidon Palace, there was a tremor in the sea water. The deep sea army continued to explore towards the 20,000-meter sea area. A sea monster, it seems that I sensed something and walked towards this place. Warn. A sea monster has noticed the existence of Poseidon Palace and is approaching here. The danger factor has reached SS level. On the screen, a huge red dot slowly moved towards the area where the Poseidon Palace was located. The speed is quite amazing. In a short period of time, he quickly approached the Poseidon Palace from a few kilometers away. Soon, a picture was projected on the screen of the Poseidon Palace control console. The sea monster is huge and covered with tentacles. Its body is like an oil drum and has 6 pairs of orange eyes. It looks like a strange light bulb in the deep and dark sea. But this light bulb grows on the head of a monster. The body looks extremely ugly, which is a nightmare for patients with trypophobia. At the same time, a monster panel popped up in front of Lushu, recording the information about the sea monster. Black Sea Monster. Category, Black Sea God Clan. Danger Coefficient, S+. Perception Range, 3000 meters. Power, 7300. Speed, 7250. Defense, 5420. Skills, Poseidon Bloodline, Abyss Amplification, Black Sea Whale. Description, a common creature in the outer world of Poseidon God Clan, it is affected by when attacking, it will emit a mournful cry that resounds throughout the Black Sea. At that time, all sea monsters will be attracted. So, it's best not to mess with this guy. It's best to kill it instantly without letting it make a mournful sound. Golden Dragon Koi immediately reminded him. In fact, no need to say anything, Lushu also knows how to deal with the Black Sea monster. The sea monster didn't seem to realize the danger yet, turning its 6 pairs of light bulb-like eyes. There was a trace of vigilance in his heart, but he still continued to move towards the Poseidon Palace. At this moment, a whirlpool suddenly swallowed up the sea monster. The sea monster suddenly panicked. It felt a crisis of death swept over. The next second, a harsh sound wave, following a certain part of the sea monster, turned into a very high frequency and spread rapidly. This frequency exceeds that of human beings. The limit of what the ears can bear is spread throughout the Black Sea as quickly as possible. If other sea monsters hear this mournful sound, they will come quickly. In the extremely dangerous Black Sea, the sea monsters still need to face the gods in the sea. Therefore, hugging together is the reason why the sea monster survives, and it is also the reason why the gods are not willing to provoke the sea monster easily. But at this moment, the sea monster discovered something even more terrifying. The sound wave is spreading to about 100 meters. The position suddenly stopped. No matter how desperately the sea monster screamed, the sound could not be transmitted. The next moment, the whirlpool of reincarnation completely enveloped the Black Sea monster. The sea monster's eyes slowly closed, completely falling into a dark eternal sleep from which I can never wake up again. You killed the Black Sea monster and got Sea Monster Heart X1. Heart of the Sea Monster, a necessary item to synthesize the Black Sea monster. If you swallow it, you can get the breath of the sea monster, making other Black Sea monsters mistakenly think that you are the same kind. A black heart appeared in Lushu's hand. This is the heart of the Black Sea monster. After being dissected out of the sea monster's body, this heart is still beating strangely, and black ink spurts out from time to time. It looks extremely disgusting. Lushu couldn't help but frown, thinking, could a normal human being really eat such a thing? It's 10,000 times more disgusting than devil fruit. At this time, Golden Dragon Koi's eyes lit up, he pointed in one direction and said, "There is a lair of a Black Sea monster there. The sea monster we killed was a homeowner among the sea monsters. Usually, the status of these homeowners is higher than that of the sea monsters of the wandering tribe. The most obvious thing is that the sea monsters of the Fang family can easily collect treasure chests. All Black Sea creatures have an instinctive love for treasure chests. When we find the sea monster's lair, we can find the treasure chest it collected. Lu Shu couldn't help but glance at the golden dragon and Koi strangely. How do you know that sea monster belongs to a homeowner family? I feel the aura of wealth in it. Golden dragon Koi said confidently. Lu Shu raised his eyebrows. Aura of wealth. That's okay. But considering the urinary properties of golden dragon Koi, this may be his talent. Drive in the direction pointed by golden dragon Koi, Momo. About half an hour later, I didn't encounter any more attacks from sea monsters on the way. A deep cave entrance appeared in front of me. The sea monster died, and naturally there were no more monsters in the cave entrance. It seemed that the sea monster I killed before strange. Not only are there people who have houses, they are also single people. The Poseidon Palace sailed into the cave. The next second, 3 golden treasure boxes appeared in front of them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 289. Ding. You opened a legendary treasure chest and obtained the best life essence X1. Ding. You opened a legendary treasure chest and obtained the best life essence X1. Ding. You opened a legendary treasure chest and obtained the best life essence X1. 3 consecutive top quality life essences. Lu Shu's eyes suddenly lit up. What a good thing. In this way, the progress of the products of my sacred tree is extremely fast. I didn't expect that a sea monster nest would contain so many good things. The way Lu Shu looked at the sea monsters suddenly changed. He originally thought that these ugly monsters would only cause trouble for him. The items that exploded were not that good either. Moreover, with the strength of the current deep sea army, synthesizing a sea monster level legion is not very helpful. I have lost interest in this kind of monster. I didn't expect to dig out a sea monster nest and find 3 legendary treasure chests in a row. This is converted into the accelerated product progress, that's 3 days. Do you use extreme life essence? Yes. With a burst of life light coming to the sacred tree in the center of the island. Growth points add 3000. Growth points add 3000. Growth points add 3000. At the same time, the products of the sacred tree also decreased by 3 days. The next product is coming even faster. Open the sacred tree panel. Sacred tree. Stage, intermediate sacred tree. Sunshine, 2010/day, 20.1x100. Aura, 1540/day, 15.4x100. Subspecies spiritual tree remaining capacity, 15, total 15. Products, spiritual fruit, sword god template fruit, Holy Spirit growth fruit, top quality void return fruit. Production cycle, 4 days. Growth points, 305,200, 41.4x100 equals 6640/day. Next stage, advanced holy tree, 500,000 growth points. 4 days to go. Lu Shu's eyes showed a brilliant light. Before, when the invasion of the Grey World ended, the last product had matured, and it had been a few days since the exploration of the Grey World. In addition, the top quality obtained this time essence of life. There are only 4 days left in total. Sword god template fruit. Spiritual fruit. These 2 fruits should be new superpowers. Lu Shu's eyes moved slightly. He didn't know to what level the Angel of Life could upgrade these fruits. I thought it would take several days to know what these fruits look like. But after searching a sea monster nest, Lu Shu's mind changed. Where is the monster's lair? It's clearly his treasure paradise. Lu Shu looked at the golden dragon koi and immediately asked, where else is there such a good place? Go search for it. The golden dragon and the koi smiled bitterly and said, you ask me, who am I asking? Among hundreds of sea monsters, there may be only one that can become a homeowner. The chance of finding someone who owns a house is very low. If you specifically want to look for it, the most common place is the sea monster community. But in this case, the number of sea monsters we have to face will be very large. It is still not recommended to do such risky things. Coming to the sea area below 20,000 meters, the area here is much larger than before. Don't look at just one or two sea monsters coming. If this sound wave is really allowed to spread, we will face thousands of them. The pursuit of sea monsters. If the Poseidon Palace is destroyed, it will not be that simple next time you want to explore such deep sea areas. Lushu could only give up this idea first. Nothing can be rushed, right now. The golden dragon koi seemed to suddenly sense something, and suddenly said, "I sense the aura of the sea monster king nearby." Sea monster king. Lu Shuhan was wondering about the background of the sea monster king. The golden dragon and koi fish suddenly ran to the control console and hid the whereabouts of the Poseidon Palace. On the screen, several red dots suddenly appeared on the map displayed by the detector. Those red dots were obviously heading towards the Poseidon Palace. But because the golden dragon koi turned on the concealment mode, it was equivalent to hiding the whereabouts of the palace. The whereabouts of these red dots suddenly stopped, and in wandering back and forth nearby. How did you sense the sea monster king? Lushu looked at the golden dragon koi in confusion. This guy's perception ability is stronger than that of the palace. Why didn't you see that the golden dragon koi was so powerful before? I didn't sense the sea monster king, I just sensed the aura of the king, golden dragon koi explained. Lushu could only complain in his heart, which is in line with the ability of golden dragon koi. He is born with a very keen sense of danger, luck, treasures and kings, these different things. This kind of perception is more of a talent than an ability. Can't we deal with the sea monster king? Lu Shuduo asked. He was very interested in the sea monster king. A homeowner among the sea monsters could accumulate so many legendary treasure chests, let alone the sea monster king. We can deal with it, but we can't let the sea monster king sense the Poseidon Palace, otherwise it will directly send all the sea monsters to attack our palace. Then I will go directly to deal with the sea monster king. Can you find this guy's palace? Yes, but the premise is that you must get the sea monster king over and try not to disturb other sea monsters. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Lushu's body swayed and he immediately left the Poseidon Palace. Nami was born with strong control over the Black Sea. Her race was higher than the average Poseidon in the sea. When consciousness came to Nami, Lushu naturally, you can also enjoy this privilege. By the way, the heart of the sea monster. There are great risks in approaching the sea monster king. This guy is cunning and alert at the same time. Don't disturb them casually. Even if there is a realm of reincarnation, it is not safe enough. In this case, just swallow the sea monster's heart and disguise it as the same kind of breath. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 290. Although the appearance of the heart was a bit disgusting, it was not Lushu who swallowed it, but Nami. As the princess of the sea, Nami herself is not human. If she lives in the deep sea, she will occasionally find the hearts of sea monsters to eat. This is their food, so naturally she will not dislike it. Nami ate the heart of a sea monster and immediately transformed into a sea monster, even her breath became exactly the same. This thing is really unpalatable. Lu Shu frowned and immediately turned off the sensory resonance with Nami. In this way, he no longer had to taste what the sea monster's heart tasted like. Fortunately, Nami's body structure is completely different from that of humans. There's nothing wrong with eating the sea monster's heart. If not, Lushu really wanted to throw it away. A prompt popped up in front of him. You have swallowed the heart of the sea monster and gained the breath of the sea monster, which lasts for 1 hour. Not much time. With only an hour of disguise, Lu Shu did not dare to neglect and immediately headed in the direction of the Sea Monster King. In the distance, the Kraken King is wandering nearby. It seems that he is looking for the aura of the disappeared Poseidon Palace. It sent out an obscure wave, signaling the sea monsters around it to search for the location of Poseidon's palace. At this time, a sea monster wandered over. The Sea Monster King immediately made a harsh sound, seeming to be scolding the other party. The sea monster instantly wandered into the distance. At this time, the Sea Monster King stopped and continued walking in other directions. That's right. The sea monster that was scolded was turned into Lu Shu. He frowned. The Sea Monster King actually asked other sea monsters to search for the direction of the aura of the Poseidon Palace. If I get close at this time, I will attract the attention of the Sea Monster King. However, there are only a few sea monsters nearby. Through the Sea Monster King's panel, Lu Shu could find that, except for some basic attributes, which were higher than those of ordinary sea monsters, there was nothing special about the Sea Monster King. That is, their status within the clan is relatively noble. In addition to being able to summon allies when encountering danger, its intelligence is higher than that of ordinary sea monsters, so it has the ability to act as a commander. Kill the other sea monsters first. While the Sea Monster King lets other sea monsters go to other areas to explore, capture the king first and capture the thieves. There are only a few sea monsters nearby. If the Sea Monster King is attacked and the sound is spread first, there will only be the several sea monsters can hear it. To be on the safe side, Lu Shu didn't want the Sea Monster King to make a sound to summon other accomplices before he died. The Sea Monster King is different from other sea monsters. It has a wider range of perception and is alert. It is more powerful. If there is any disturbance, it will immediately summon all the sea monsters over. It does not have to wait until it is attacked. Because of this difference, Lu Shu treats the Sea Monster King better than dealing with ordinary sea monsters. Be more cautious. Mark. When the other sea monsters left, Lu Shu first used his spiritual power to leave a spiritual mark on them without anyone noticing. It would be very convenient to find them this way. Then, all he had to do was act like a hunter. Same, waiting for the moment when the sea monster leaves the perception range of the Sea Monster King. The Sea Monster King ordered his men to spread out to explore, because considering that the nearby sea area is too big, there is no requirement to act within the perception range. This gave Lu Shu an excellent opportunity. Kill. When a sea monster was alone, Lu Shu immediately used the realm of reincarnation to wrap up the sea monster and kill it instantly. The sea monster had no room to react at all. After being crushed by mental power, it fell into reincarnation. Illusion, and can never wake up. This is no different from death. Even if the sea monster can hold on for a few seconds, it is in Lu Shu's realm of reincarnation and cannot transmit the sound waves. In this way, reincarnation domain is Lu Shu's best way to kill sea monsters. Golden Dragon Koi, is this guy a homeowner? Lu Shu transferred the body back and asked the Golden Dragon Koi to identify it. No. Golden Dragon Koi shook his head decisively, and said helplessly, you kill these sea monsters, it is basically impossible for you to be a homeowner. The class divisions in the sea monster field are quite clear. The status of the homeowners is slightly higher than that of the homeless people, and it is impossible for them to become the subordinates of the Sea Monster King. Generally, those who are summoned and waved away by the Sea Monster King are wandering people with a lower status. All right. After hearing this answer, Lu Shu could only give up. However, in order to act safely and within the racial domain of the sea monster, Lu Shu did not choose to be too reckless, but first dealt with the Sea Monster King's men. Even if there is no harvest from the treasure chest, getting a few more sea monster hearts will be beneficial to the subsequent disguise. After all, after killing the Sea Monster King, you have to enter the opponent's lair and get all the Sea Monster King's assets. Therefore, in Lu Shu's eyes, these hearts are still useful. 1, 2, 3. Every time he killed a sea monster, Lu Shu counted it silently in his mind. When he killed the 17th one, he took a long breath. Finally the killing is over. So far, all the Sea Monster King's men have been killed by Lu Shu. During this period, Lu Shu also received 2 sea monster hearts. At a sea area of 20,000 meters, the range of activities nearby is really too large, and we have to wait patiently for the sea monster to leave the perception range of the Sea Monster King before we can take action. In addition to Lu, we can take down these men in half a day. The tree itself is strong enough to kill instantly, and there is a certain amount of luck in it. Lu Shu quietly turned back toward the Sea Monster King. At this time, the Sea Monster King also realized some dangers. After such a long time, not a single sea monster came back. Just when it was about to scream, a sea monster returned to its side leisurely. This made the Sea Monster King relax his guard a little. Just when it made a sharp cry and wanted to accuse, the next second, the Sea Monster King found that the surrounding area had become a realm of reincarnation, and it had no chance to speak anymore.